Tonight, Tov Shinum Beis, the Rebbe spoke an unbelievable sikha, reminding everyone about Chanukah gelt.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that video.
Very important. Even your children that are married, the Frierdiker Rebbe is even as married children, and they should try to give every night. I remember that year, my father.
He gave you that night.
No. He came up with a mahalach, and I do what my father does every year. It's he stopped doing it. He doesn't have little kids at home, but I do it, and the kids love it. First night I give them $1. Second night I give them $2. Marlon Makoidish. Third night I give them $3. Fourth night they get $4. Give it to them as singles. I give it to them as singles.
You become wealthy.
They're wealthy. I take loans from them.
Night you gave them 8.
I'm coming over.
Boni Mela Talmidim.
Come the 8 days.
I'm going to tell you a story about Chanukah gelt. It's an unbelievable hashgacha protest, and then we'll start learning. I went on the
If somebody is in mourning, not this one.
Yeah.
Can I give Chanukah gelt to my children?
Yeah, I would say yes, because it's a minig Yisrael to be mechanech. It has to do, like we'll talk soon, to be mechanech.
Wow.
And I don't see that it should be, if it was part of the simcha of the chag,
Right.
it's part of the chinuch.
I gave my grandchildren, every one of them,
Sure.
the same. A $20 bill.
$20, good. Maybe you should add the zeros. So I went tonight on my computer, and I said, you know what? I put in a few keywords, Mos Chanukah gelt here and there, and I came up with a list of 7 reasons for Chanukah gelt. Why we do Chanukah
Can I
gelt?
ask you to say I meant something?
Yeah, sure.
Magid, there was the Rabbi Yaakov, Israel. But he tells us to do. He also, Hashem also does.
Oh, you're mechaven to the Rebbe's word tonight. Oh, we're going to say a big amen to this when we get to this. Okay. Right, you're mechaven. You're right on the money.
It's like the story that you say. If you're a real chassid, you should have known.
If you're really a chassid, you should have known. So you're mechaven to the Rebbe's word. Okay. First, let me tell you a story about Chanukah gelt. This Friday night, we had a huge oilum house. So there was a couple. They live on the block. She's a doctor. He's a lawyer. They're starting to be in the scout of Yiddishkeit. He comes in not frequently. If you see, he sits next to me. Comes with a son and a daughter. So he has. No, he's not that tall. And he's a quiet guy. So he told me once his father is a dentist, and they have 2 shiksas that come there, 2 goyim that comes to his father's office, and they love his father. So they decided patience.
Okay.
They decided, and they were like they lived a whole life. They shared a toothpick. And they have a couple of $1 million.
Wow.
So they opened up a foundation, and they made that he should be in charge of this foundation. So I said, from where? He says, 2 going from Ukraine. There has to be charities in Ukraine. I said, Ukraine? There's a lot of shluchim in Ukraine. I said, there's a shliach, Shlomo Willem. He has an orphanage in Zhitomir. I don't know why that came to my mind, but it was like I figured that if the shiksa,
Rabbi Reich, I think.
I know Rabbi Willem. I was there in Zhitomir. I was thoroughly impressed. That's what I said. I said, Rabbi, please don't go there. So I can't. So he asked me not to. Okay, fine. So a couple of weeks ago, he texted me, Rabbi, what were you telling me about that orphanage in Ukraine? So I called up the shliach in Ukraine, and I connected them, and he sent them pictures, and the Kitzer came to the Shluchim convention. He came over to our table. He was really excited, and he came the next day. He came to Flatbush, and he came.
The doctor came?
No, the shliach, Shlomo Wilhelm. So he came, and this lawyer had a check from him, $17,500.
Wow. Okay.
Made out to his
Beis Chabad.
From the foundation.
From that foundation, yeah. Unbelievable. So he called me up and he thanked me. It was recently. Shabbat.
We're allowed to take.
From where?
Why not?
What's the laws?
That's a separate child.
Yeah.
But this is. First of all, yeah, but this is to take care of Yisoimim. It's fine. So Shabbos, he tells me. I'm not asking him any questions.
So he knew that the foundation gave that money?
No, Wilhelm?
No, Wilhelm, this doctor.
No, so now I didn't know what happened. So the doctor tells me, no, he's a lawyer. His wife is a doctor. So the lawyer tells me that what happened was that he was helping out this foundation. He was giving them legal work.
Okay.
But he's not charging them. He was not charging them. So they called him up a couple of weeks ago and they said, look, we have these foundations are sitting on so much money. From time to time, like they have to give out some money.
Little bit.
They stuck. But so they needed to give 17,500 out as charity. So they figured, where should they give it? So they called him up. They said, you know what, you're doing our legal stuff for free. So tell us any charity you want to give.
And he said, because you Friday night, you told him, so he's
So exactly.
So now you give him feedback on what happened, that they did it, and
So it's unbelievable, yeah.
so he was so happy that you mentioned this and this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a
No?
He gave it to the Zhitomer. And the
so many different stuff.
the shliach is, you know what I mean? It's a check us, yeah. The shliach in Russia.
Because he, but it's good.
He has a huge moiset, but still, in Zhitomer, 17,500. It's clean. There's no strings attached. There's no nothing. There's no nothing.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
It's unbelievable.
It is a miracle.
Okay, let's go to the stories of the Chanukah gelt. Where do we get the Chanukah gelt from? So, the first thing is that Rebbe brings from the Alter Rebbe. The Chanukah is Meloshen Chinuch, Chanoich L'nar, and just like a child, you give them little gifts. So it was Lashkicham Torah Secho, and now that there was a Nitzochen, so we rededicate ourselves to learning Torah. So Mamela, there has to be Chinuch, and Chinuch starts off with a little bit of a matana. Therefore, we give the children a matana, a little bit of money to encourage them to learn Torah. Okay. Agav Urcha, there's a story that I found here. This from one of the big tzaddikim, Afkenat, the Mordchev Lechvich, that when he used to give out Chanukah gelt to his Talmidim. So one year he said, instead of Chanukah gelt, he says, every Talmud can ask him one thing. No, one thing they want. They want to open up their brain, to open their heart. They want to. He gave every Talmud something. That was the Chanukah gelt. No, Halavai, we could give the Chanukah gelt like that. But the meantime,
I know the Rebbe gave Chanukah gelt to the Bochum in 1770, and a Bochum that came later to Chassidus or Misa Seder or something like that. The Rebbe said, no, I'm not giving it.
right.
What happened?
The Rebbe gave to the Bochum in 1770 Chanukah gelt.
Right.
A Bochum that wasn't the Seder all the year.
Oh wow.
Or let's say from Tisha to it was late 1 minute. Or me, something like that? No? Don't get.
So what happened? He did what?
He missed.
Second reason is brought from the Kozhnetz Magid. So Kozhnetz Magid says a beautiful thing. He says Yidden love to spend money on a mitzvah. Why? Because something that's cheap, it has no value. It has no value. So usually mitzvahs are very expensive. You send a kid to yeshiva, it's very expensive. A nice lulav nesting is expensive. You build a sukkah, everything is matzahs, Pesach, everything. How much does it cost to buy a little shem and zayis? I guess the kosher samaga didn't know about fancy menorahs. How much does it cost a little shem and zayis? But we want it. But if it's cheap, it's in the shkedai. So we spend the money on the children, on the Chanukah gelt. So the Chanukah comes somewhat a little more expensive.
Good idea.
Chidush She'arim. Here's a third shot from the Chidush She'arim. A beautiful word. He says like this. It says, Oirech Yomim Bimino B'smoilo Oisher V'chavod. Again, Oirech Yomim Bimino B'smoilo is Oisher V'chavod. So Ner Chanukah is Bimin, and where's the menorah? B'smoil. So B'meil Chanukah is as gulet for Oisher V'chavod. Chanukah is a sgula for Oisha v'choved. Agav urcha, I don't want to, but before we learned Amorid the Kamaimer, and in the Maimer he connects the Ashirus, Beruchnius, to Ashirus Begashmius, and he talks about the Chanukah is the highest level of revelation in Kedusha, even higher than days of Shlomo. But he talks about Agav, that because we made Shlomo's Beruchnis, there was such a big Ashirus Beruchnis, that's what Begashmius, there was such Ashirus. Right? So Bazar Chanukah is Mesugul for the union of Bismoila Oisha V'Choved, because really what are we doing? Because we're going into the world, into the Rosh Hashanah, Pesach Beisoy, and Nachutz, and over there we're bringing Kedusha. So Mamela, it's Mesugul, it's very Mesugul for Ashirus. Okay, next reason. One more thing before we continue. The Rebbe spoke about this in the Sikha, which is a beautiful thing. We say that we light the Chanukah candles al Pesach Beisim Bachutz, and well, long as people are outside, there's Persuma Nisa. How long is it Persuma Nisa? The Kalye Rigle, the Talmudoi, until the people of Talmudoi are not there. So we spoke about the Shabbos, we spoke about last week, that Chassidus says, what is it? Strange lotion. Kalye Rigle Talmudoi, the Talmudoi is Moshe Meredis. Until we spread so much light in the world, until the Moiridim Malchus Shemayim, until we get rid of them. So the Rebbe says that there's a rai from this. The Gemara in Yevamah says that Shlomo Melech had servants, and they rebelled against them, and they mixed into the nation of Talmudoi. So we see that's not only that the Kabbalah, but the Pipshat, that this nation, they were Moiridim Malchus Shemayim. And the job of the Yid is to turn around even those that are murdered with Malchus Shemayim. So the Rebbe says, and this is Behemshach to what we learned Shabbos in the Maimer, that it says Kalya. The word Kalya could mean two things: Kiloyan, to burn, or Kiloyan Meloshen Vayechulu, Kalois HaNefesh. So there's two things that a Yid has to do. First thing is he has to burn the darkness of the Golus. And the second thing is he has to be Mailed the Golus, to turn it into Geula, to take the Choshech of the world and to turn it into Kedusha. So first he has to take the Moiredes, those are Moired b'Malchus Shemayim, and burn it. They shouldn't be Moired b'Malchus Shemayim. But then he has to do more than that. He has to make Kalois HaNefesh. Not only Kiloyin. Kiloyin means to burn. Kiloyin means to burn, and Kalois HaNefesh, to make Kalois HaNefesh. They should have Kalois HaNefesh. Okay. Back to summarize. The Chidush Hadim says that Chanukah gelt is because Memina is the regular things, the regular mitzvahs, and Besmoilas Oisha V'Choved, there's certain mitzvahs that have a koyach to turn around the smoil, negativity of the world, and one of them is Ner Chanukah, and that's what's connected to Oisha V'Choved. Okay, number 4 is from the Belzer Rebbe, that he said, simple. He said that two halachas, two dinim, where you it says that even an oni has to sell his cloak in order to do this mitzvah, and that's the arba koises, and that's also for buying candles for the Chanukah candle. Why? He said because there's a concept of oines rechmonika patri. Person never can afford it. The Tebisha says pater, but command David lo yamin, he didn't do it. He's potter. You're not going to hit him. They're not going to whip him in Gehenna. But he didn't do the mitzvah, right? There's two mitzvahs you can't afford to say, okay, look. The Pesumei Nisa, it means that you have to tell someone else about it. So what good is it going to do to say, I couldn't afford it? So if a person says he couldn't afford it, he couldn't buy it. Tzitzis, he couldn't buy this. But that's for him. But this is a mitzvah, Pesumei Nisa, so he has to do. Mela, there are Nebach, that there are Yidden that can't afford to buy even candles. So they made a Chanukah, there should be a special union to give extra tzedakah, a Chanukah gelt. So everyone end up with Chanukah with extra a few dollars in their pocket. So at least there'll be, even an Oni Shabi Yisrael will be able to afford to buy candles. Okay. Agav Urcha, they say a story from the Radziner Rebbe that he went to a dentist on Chanukah. Yeah, they had to pull out a tooth. They didn't have root canals, calf crowns. What can you do? You have to pull out a tooth. So the dentist pulled out the tooth, and how much do I have to pay you? He said, it's Chanukah, it'll be my Chanukah gelt to you. So the Ratzvina Rebbe said, do me a favor, just don't tell anyone about it. I'm scared that you're going to tell people about it, everyone's going to come pull out one of my teeth. That's a Chanukah gelt. No, this is the Ratzvina Rebbe, the guy from the Tchelis. I found another reason in a beautiful article in the Beis Yitzchak that's a kovetz on Yeshiva University for the Bzvul Chalap. He's a very choshev erov. He should have arichas yom v'shonim tovas. He was the menal in the yeshiva back then, and I was very friendly with him. He was a erov in Marshall Parkway. I was very, very close to him. Charlap. He had a very choshev azayda. No. Charlap is a Rosh Tovas. Rosh Chachamim LeYehudei Poilen.
Oh, so.
Yeah, no, he was Ashkenaz. His grandfather was a Talmud Muvak by what's it called in Eretz Yisrael by Erev Cook, but he was mamish. His Zayder Rabbi Yaakov Moshe Charlap was like angenommen in all of Eretz Yisrael. He was considered very, very big.
Oh, was a big hechsher, no?
He was very, very. There's a hechsher also from the family. Akaponim. So he has a beautiful article, long article, but this is Nekuda. The Rambam says that Chanukah is a mitzvah chaviva. It's unusual lashon, mitzvah chaviva.
Which means he's not chaviv.
What? Yeah. So he brings a raya from maybe 10 places in Shas. Kipshute, 10 places in Shas. In Rambams and other places that chaviv usually is when we talk about money. Yesh l'cha adam shemamoinoi chaviv alav megufay. Usually, the word chaviv is associated with money. In Chazal, usually chaviv is associated with money. So, the Rambam said that what happens when he tells the story of Chanukah is poshtu yodam b'mamoinam u'b'vnoisayim. But the first thing they did, they told the Jews, you become like Yevonim. And the Jews said no. So then they said, so first thing they did was poshtu yodam b'mamoinam. They tried to steal the Jewish money, like the Nazis, Yamach Shemam, same thing. So, therefore, when the Yidden had Hatzolah, Poshet, there was also Hatzolah for Mamoinam. So, therefore we give Chanukah gelt. To remember, that the Goyim, the first thing they tried to do was Poshtu Yodam B'Mamoinam. So, we want to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How do we thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu? For that, by giving tzedakah and by giving Chanukah gelt. And that's why the Rambam used the lotion that Chanukah, that it's mitzvah chaviva, because that mitzvah that has to do thanking the Eivishter for saving the Yidden, not only their bodies but also their money. Purim was more, Haman was lahashmid lahara abed. That was it. Amemela, they're going to steal all their money. But it was lahashmid lahara abed.
He said, I want to give 10,000.
He also wanted to give money.
Already did it.
Higdem shkavu. Oh, he was higdem also that he was. Okay, anyway, so he says a beautiful word. Okay, another pshat I found in a sefer collection of a nice vertlach. But this was a lomdeshuan from the Roget Shop.
You did good homework.
Oh, it's very easy.
Today is very easy, you understand?
Today, on the computer, you get everything.
Yeah, you understand that it's not easy.
It's unbelievable.
It's still not easy.
So, much easier. What would the Gedolei Yisrael, maybe 100 years ago, what we have today? Every sefer is available. What's not available?
No, Rabbi Google.
What sefer is not available?
If
a sefer is not available, you go on the computer and you get it.
Years ago,
It's unbelievable.
Years ago, no.
Yeah, they were the Google, exactly. They didn't need Google.
Yeah.
So he has a beautiful pshat, interesting pshat. There's a concept of tzedakah and tamchui. The Rambam says that there is two types of tzedakah. One was called tzedakah, one was called tamchui. What's the difference between tzedakah and tamchui? Tzedakah, they collected money, and tamchui, they collected food. Tzedakah, they collected money. The kaboy tzedakah, the Rambam says, Kol yish yesh b'Yisrael chayav lahavim hem kaboy tzedakah, that they go and they collect. V'zu anikra kupa, that's called kupa. And then there's a second thing, ma'midim gaboy shalokcha b'chol yom b'chol chotzer, pas, minim meichel, peiris, and that's called tamchui. One is basically like a soup kitchen, and one is a financial institution. That's kupa and tamchui. There was a time that all Yidden were trusted, and they would take from every Jew. They didn't ask any questions. They gave a bottle of wine, they gave cheese. There's no question what's a chol of Yisrael, it's a glat kosher. Everything was glat kosher. Everything was chol of Yisrael. There was no such thing as non-glat. There was no such thing as non-chol of Yisrael. Every Jew was trusted. But unfortunately, when it came to the time of the choshech of the Yevonim, and a lot of Jews, unfortunately, were also drawn into the Yevonim. So therefore, they couldn't anymore collect food from every house. So then they're more focused on collecting money. So from now on they were collecting Chanukah gelt. From Chanukah we're collecting only the gelt. The donuts you can keep at home. The Gabbai Tzedakah says never mind. The donuts, the latkes you can keep at home. Give us the money. From Chanukah we start giving the gelt. Okay. There's another few vertla, but these are the ikar things. So good. These are the ikar reasons. So the Rebbe spoke about this special sikha, the last day of Chanukah and Tavshin Beis. That year, the Rebbe was very excited about this. They had a satellite, and they had simultaneous throughout the world celebration for Chanukah. Right. They had at the Kois Lamarovi, the Mordechai L'Ariyahu, Zechanel Brocha was lighting the candle there. They had Jews in Calcutta. They had in Melbourne. They had in Paris by the Eiffel Tower, South Africa, and Hong Kong. They had all over the world. And the Rebbe was very excited about it. The Rebbe said that we see from here two nakudas, two very important things. Number one, we learned from this that in the days of old, a person thought, I say one thing, how could that affect the whole world in a positive way? I'm sitting in the little shtetl, and I make shahakal ne'medvari. Tell me that this mamas yushpa shefer abba chol oilamas. I don't see it. So the Rebbe said, today you see it. A person posts a little thing, and the whole world could watch what he said. And not only watch it, they can watch it in real time. One person says a bracha lahadlik. The Rebbe said here there was a little boy, had a young child, and not a bar mitzvah, but a young boy, who lit the Chanukah menorah, and the whole world was able to see and join in in the simcha of Adlokas Neiras Chanukah. Another thing that Rebbe said, we see that the world shrunk. We see that and that shows in the Achdus that the world used to be very fragmented. People didn't know what's going on here and there. But the Moshe Mashiach, the whole world is going to know as Hashem Echad. So a person used to think, how is it going to happen? The whole world, the other end of the world. But today is nothing. You see, everyone.
2 seconds.
Something spreads. Someone spread the Narishkeit, and then you have 200 million people are watching it. Some Narish, something, and then everyone's. So culture came to Kavachomer when a Yid does something which is positive. A, that one Yid could do a little thing and could affect the whole world. And B, we see the Achdus that this could be the tool that will bring Achdus in the entire world. So, Bekesha to this, the Rebbe said that this is also the connection to Vayigash and Pashas Vayigash and Pashas Vayechi. Because Pashas Vayigash is just like Chanukah. The Dafke, Pesach Beisoi, when there's Choshech, a Yid could bring the oil, even though Vayigash is that the Yidden go into Golus, but Dafka through the Golus comes a big Geula. From Vayigash comes Vayechi Yaakov. That it says his best years of this year Dafka Mitzrayim. So and Vayechi is Meramas and the union of Chaim Nitzchim. When is it going to be Chaim Nitzchim? When Mashiach Tzidkenu is going to come. So Mela, the Rebbe said that the last night of Chanukah is a time to think about bringing Mashiach Tzidkenu. And Mela, Mashiach comes as through Tzedakah. And then the Rebbe spoke about Chanukah gelt. And Chanukah gelt has many reasons about Chanukah gelt. But one of the main things is that Magid Varav Le'Yaakov Chukum Mishpat Al Yisrael. That if the Yidden do, the Eibush has to also do. And especially when the little children are very cute, right? So a child, you want to give them with your whole heart, right? With the simcha. When the Yidden give to their children Chanukah gelt with a big simcha. So the Eibishter also gives to the Yidden Chanukah gelt with a big simcha. What's the Chanukah gelt that the Yidden need? No, every Yid has things that they need. Bona, Chaya, Mezayna, Revicha, everyone needs certain things. So Mela and the schus of giving Chanukah gelt, the Eibishter gives the Klal Yisrael the Chanukah gelt. And what's the main Chanukah gelt that the Yidden need? Mashiach Tzidkeinu. Mashiach Tzidkeinu. So Mela, the Rebbe gave a big thing that everyone should go out, and if they didn't yet give Chanukah gelt, make sure to give all their children Chanukah gelt. And if they're ready, gave Chanukah gelt, they should give Beis Ofer Chanukah gelt. And the Eibishter should see how all Klal Yisrael is creating a big simcha through the giving of Chanukah gelt. And Mela, the Eibishter should also give his big Chanukah gelt to Klal Yisrael. We have a few minutes. I tell you, there's Rabbi. There's a story that Rabbi Shlomo Kunyan. Rabbi Kunyan had. He used to have a telethon. He still has.
Yeah. Millions of dollars he made.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he said that he was once on a plane. He was finished the telethon. And he was coming to New York to go to the oil to down. So he's in the plane, and Shlomo Kunyan, wherever he goes, he's putting out film with people. Mamish. He's putting out film with people. He's in the airport. It doesn't matter where he is. He's always walking around with his film. He's always this funny guy. He's always with his film. We were going now, when it was the Shluchim convention now, and Beis Mendel, a whole group went, and we were on the line. So he's standing there. He saw someone. He thought, he called him over here. You put on film. That was a few minutes before Shkia. You put on film.
Like in the picture in the morning, he is the one that put film in somebody.
Oh yeah.
470, the one
By the
guy.
pictures.
Come here, before we put the picture.
Anyway, that's Shlomo
Can't say
Kunyan.
no to him.
So he said that he was putting on film people on the plane, and there was a Chassidish guy with Shana Payas and everything. He says, "Oh, you're the rabbi from the telethon?" So he says, "Yeah." So he told him, "I have to tell you a story." So he lives in California because his business is there. He met a friend that they were together in Chayder in Williamsburg, but Nebuch, the friend, didn't look like a Jew, but they keep some connection. His friend always said that there's one red line: he's not ever going to marry a shiksa. And then the friend calls him, invites him to a wedding, talking kids. It turns out that her father is Jewish. He said,
She is a shiksa.
a shiksa. You're marrying a shiksa. I'm not gonna forget about it. I don't want to, with these people. I don't want to know you anymore. Okay. So sometime later, he gets a knock on the door, and it's this friend. So the friend tells him that their wedding is planned in a couple of days, and that night he was by the shiksa's house. And they were going through last things, invitations, last things for the wedding. And the television was running, and someone moved the channels, flipped the channels, and the telethon was on. And he's seeing Shlomo Kunyan, man, the money is coming, the big screen and the money. I don't know if it's real or not. I wonder. All these big numbers coming and going. Halavai, it's true. Anyway, it's true. It should be true. So the money is coming. He says, "Oh, we're going to take a break, and we're going to watch the Rebbe from 1992, the Rebbe's message from Chanukah Live." And you hear the Sikha that Rebbe said about Chanukah Live. And then he says, "Now we're going to watch the Rebbe singing Tzom Lecha Nafshi." So they watch a video of the Rebbe singing Tzom Lecha Nafshi on television. He said he was like, and the shiksa is telling him, "Well, we're getting distracted. Come on, we have to. We're doing something. What's wrong with you?" So he gets up. He says, "I gotta leave. He leaves, and he went to his friend's house. He says, Kitzur, they sat for a long time, and he decided he's not going back to shiksa. He canceled the wedding. Was it?
He comes on the plane, all the whole story.
Yes, he tells us. So he tells us too.
Why happened? Because he was listening to it.
He could-
He saw the telethon.
Right, because he saw the telethon and he saw that Rebbe singing Soma Lachon Nafshi.
Nafshi.
And even though he was Nebuch scheduled to get married in a short time to a shiksa, but it had such a thing in his neshama that he just got up, he walked out, he found his friend's apartment, he went to his friend, and he decided that was it. He broke off with the shiksa. And this friend is on the plane, so he's telling Rabbi Kunyan the story.
When did that happen?
This is the story Rabbi Kunyan said. Another story is about a dreidel. A story from Chabad in Thailand. They're always getting Israeli. The kids that Nebuch. They're looking all over the world for
Meanings
yeah.
of life.
Nebuch, they don't grow up with any but the Yid, the neshamas, you can't a goy is a bottle of beer, he's happy, but Yiddish neshama
In Israel, would never walk into a yeshiva,
Right.
shul, nothing. But in Thailand,
they end up in the base Chabad, exactly.
But they end up after walking into the gates of hell.
Yeah,
When they come to America, they go to
But-
Crown Heights.
but
No,
unbelievable.
they go through and make their own research. They go to
right, it's unbelievable.
Buddhas, they go
Yeah,
everywhere.
Nebuch, they kriegen all the wrong places.
And then the Buddhas tell them to go to your Jew boy.
Nebuch. Anyway, they said there was an Israeli kid who was out there already for 3 years, but it wasn't good enough. He went to some island, remote island. He doesn't want any Jews. He doesn't want any Jews. He was living in a tent. He was renting for peanuts, and he was just eating whatever he could find. And sitting on the beach, yoim achayoim, sitting. His mind is wandering, and he's just sitting on the beach, watching the water hit the shore day after day, and this was going on for a few months. So he's sitting at the beach, and he sees something wash up. He picks it up. It was a dreidel.
What?
A dreidel, and with the Hebrew letters.
Sivivon.
Yeah, Sivivon. So he remembered, he was like, wow. So he decided he wants to call his parents. He hadn't spoken to his parents in a couple of months. So he decided he's going to call his parents. So he called his parents. His mother picks up the phone. She says, oh, you wouldn't believe it. Your father just came in and he's about to light the Chanukah candle. So it was like,
What happened
So-
to him after that?
So he decided he wants to light his own menorah. So so the lady he was renting from her this tent. He asked if she has some. So she had a couple of candles. And he got some banana peels and stuff. He put it down on the ground, and he put in the candles. And a guy comes over. Someone comes over and says, "What are you lighting?" So he said, "Well, 2,500 years ago, the Jews had this miracle where the Greeks came against us, and so the guy says, interesting story, I'm from Greece."
Never heard this story.
Yeah.
That's cute.
So anyway, he decided he's going back to Israel, but first he went back to mainland Thailand. He went to Chabad house.
Back to where?
To Israel.
To
But first he went to Thailand, to the main, and he spent 3 months in Chabad house, and he got the basics of Judaism. He went back to Eretz Yisrael, and Baruch Hashem, he's on a good path right now. So l'chaim, it's the last night of Chanukah, Zois Chanukah. So it's the time to chaparein, to give tzedakah with simcha, and to give Chanukah gelt with simcha, and to tell the Eibishter that he should give us all the Chanukah gelt that we need. Bona chayim azoyna b'livich, and mainly the Vias Mashiach Tzedkeinu.